My name is Mola, and I'm the project coordinator here at RKY. And I'd like us to just drop our names in the chat box and introduce ourselves. Tell me your name and where you are joining from. If you haven't done that already, please do, and we can get started with this session. So before we proceed, I'd just like to ask us some questions, right? What are your expectations? Like, what do you hope to gain from this bootcamp? Right? I don't just want us to sit through the session and not contribute. I want us to engage. I want us to ask questions. So you use the chat box to tell me why you are here, what role you are currently in, and tell us if you're trying to transition into compliance or you're just willing to explore. So you can use the chat box to drop that and we'll get started. So just tell me why you're here, what's your expectation is for this session, like what do you hope to gain, right? What role you're currently in, right? The background that you're coming from, and what's are you looking to transition into compliance or you're just exploring? Let's keep the session engaging. By telling me all this, it will be easy for us to have a proper flow for the session. Example will be relatable. When your facilitator, the facilitator of our compliance bootcamp joins, he would be able to channel his discussion based on the current background that we have and the current career paths that people are looking to transition into. So yes, I'm currently a master's student, a lawyer, and I want to transition into compliance. Perfect. You actually have a very, very good background to transition into compliance. Thank you for that, Kendi. Let's keep it coming, please. Okay, yes, to see how I can apply what I already know to migrate and also know more from you guys. Currently a fraud investigation officer. Good, I like that. So I deal with AML and KYC at times, and I do a little compliance, but I want to know more. Yes, there's no end to learning, so it's okay to know more. Welcome, Arisa. Care assistant looking to transition into compliance. Ngozi, what has your background been rather before transitioning into, before becoming a care assistant? What background do you have before the care assistant role? Okay, please let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. While others are dropping theirs, I'm just going to start by introducing RKY. I'm very sure you guys have heard about RKY, and I'd like you to know that RKY Group is more than just one company. We have RKY Careers, we have Apply Buddy, we have Limitless and Thriving Podcast, we have Limitless Without Borders, we have RKY Business Hub, and we have RKY Digital Solution. All these make RKY Group, and all these are built to actually bridge gaps and create opportunities for underrepresented individuals and communities, right? At RKY Careers, we are a multi-award winning tech company. We offer bootcamps that are not just bootcamps, they are practical bootcamps because you get to work on real life cases, solve real life problems and real life scenarios, right? Our bootcamps are in data analysis, business analysis, project management, UK compliance, MX Excel, digital marketing, you name it, right? We have those bootcamps. And then we also have Apply Buddy, right? We have Apply Buddy where we help people apply for job, right? So many people have the experience, but either they don't know how to apply for a job that would get them an interview, or they don't have the time because of their present work to apply for jobs. So we do that for you. We take that burden off you by helping you to apply for a job. And when we apply for your job, we don't use just one CV for all your jobs. We tailor each CV to fit the job that we are applying for. We also have Limitless and Thriving podcast where we share insight and success story from professionals to empower our people, right? And we also have Limitless Without Borders. Now, this is a networking and tech career event featuring keynotes, panels, and workshops. We have different speakers that experienced and have built a life for themselves in the UK. And you as a UK immigrant, you stand to gain for them. And fortunately, we have our 4.0 coming up in June for UK. And the good news is that we will also have another one in Lagos this year. So we have the June one happening in London, and we have the one for August happening in Nigeria, Lagos to be precise. So yes, nobody is left out, right? And over the coming years, we also look to expand and have these events across different countries, right? Now, for the one coming up in June, that's June 27th, we are going to bring diverse people with different portfolio. There'll be awards, there'll be exhibition, there'll be pitch to win, you name it. I'm still going to talk about that later on, right? Then we have RKY Business Up. Now, this is the high impact community helping professionals and founders turn ideas into profitable, scalable businesses through structure, strategy, and high value connections. Right. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to set up your business in the UK, you don't know how to go about it because there are so many processes, then RKY Business Hub is for you. Take it from my boss. She has set up different businesses and all our business are thriving. Right. We have RKY Digital Solutions where we offer mobile app and website development, IT training, project consulting, and data analysis service. So all these companies make RKY groups. So now, if you think of it, RKY Careers is for training, apply body, we get a job application done for you. Business Hub is for people building income streams. So everyone has a place in RKY, right? So now let's go to, before I take this, I just want to check the chat box to see those that have dropped. Yeah. Okay, so Chisom said, I'm a Nigerian trained lawyer open to transition into compliance, currently work as a retail assistant. Perfect. Your law background is actually perfect to transition into compliance. I will get into it. You'll get to know the details in the course of this session. Now, I'm currently working as a support worker. I'm looking to transition into compliance, and currently I'm on a graduate visa and looking for sponsorship too. Okay, that's fine. So before you became a support worker, what background did you have? What were you like? What was your job role? Were you in customer service? Were you an admin officer? What was your job role? Now, I am David. I am here to learn and explore the possibilities of transitioning into compliance. I'm currently working in the housing space. However, I have worked in the financial sector. Perfect, David. You have a great fit for compliance, and I'll tell you how in the course of this bootcamp. I recently relocated to the UK. My background is 17 plus banking experience in Nigeria, and I want to transition into the UK AML, KYC, and compliance, which was part of my job role in my past experience back in Nigeria. Awesome, Ben. So now all this as is place in compliance, and I'm going to tell you how. So let's move on. Okay, so about RKY Careers, right? As you can see here, and I've mentioned before, we are a multi-award winning EdTech company that empowers international students and professionals to excel in the competitive global job market and secure their dream position, right? We are not just like every other bootcamp companies, right? We make a difference, right? And our difference is all about practicality. A lot of people take courses and can't even explain what they've learned. So when they get interviewed and they are asked questions, maybe competency-based questions, scenario-based questions, they are unable to tell a story around what they've learned. And RKY Careers is here to build that gap, right? You're not just learning definition, you're learning how to speak speak like someone who has done the job, like someone who has vast experience. You might just be transitioning. You've never worked in the banking industry. You've never worked as a lawyer. You're just fully transitioning into the compliance field. When you finish your bootcamp, you get to speak like someone that's done the job before. We have some of our students that have never done anything compliance related. I think in our last masterclass, the person that came, she said she has never done anything related to compliance. She was not even in the field. But after the bootcamp, she stayed through all the classes, watched all the recordings, asked questions, did all the quiz and assignments that was given to them. And even after the bootcamp, as she was applying, she was still reading more, learning more. And today, she's working as a compliance analyst, right? This is someone that has no background experience, no relatable experience that you could even say, oh, okay, I came from this field and it's easy for me to transition. So yeah, so if you are here and you found yourself in this shoe as well, you can easily transition into compliance, right? We've won several awards at RKY Careers because of our work. We've won top 25 changing the face of education, best professional services solution company of the year, career support organization of the year, best ed tech and career coaching company 2024, diversity and inclusion innovation award, outstanding coach and mentor global recognition award, innovative entrepreneur of the year, career support organization of the year, UK tech startup finalist. Right now, let's talk about the brain behind the brand. You can't talk about RKY Careers without talking about Rukayat Alabi. She's our CEO, and like she has spent years experiencing what people are currently experiencing, and she decided to make the change. I like to talk about this part because it is a relatable experience that she has. She moved to the UK. She went through applying for jobs, not getting interviews before landing her first role, right? And she has been able to pave the way for herself. When she started her KY career, she was working as a finance analyst here in the UK. So she was juggling her work and also juggling her business. And here we have, she has built different businesses, right? The founders built this specifically to help people, especially immigrants and career switchers, break into global opportunity. She didn't just build it, just for the sake of it. She built it to help people. And her dream of helping people has become a reality, right? Rukayat Alabi is also a multi-award winning entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of RKY Careers, dedicated to helping migrants navigate the job market, secure their desired roles, and thrive in their career. She tailors support to each individual need, capacity, and challenges, delivering excellence at every pace. Our work has been recognized globally, earning accolades such as top 25 changing the face of education, EdTech CEO of the year, Innovative Entrepreneur of the Year, Top 25 Advancing Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in Corporate UK 2024, Outstanding Coach and Mentor, Top 25 Advancing Diversity and Inclusion in the UK 2025, Business Owner Excellence of the Year 2026, and acceptance into the Forbes Official Coaches Council. She has contributed to over 10 Forbes.com expert panel articles and received the Global Recognition Award. So there you have it. Now, if someone that has built this over the years have gotten recognized globally, you should know that we are not just for show, right? We know our onions, we know what we're doing, and we help put people on the right career path, right? If you don't know what to do, you're confused, we have a service for you, right? To help you navigate your career path, choose one that works for you based on your background, right? She's also the founder of Apply Body, Limitless Without Borders, Limitless and Thriving Podcast, RKY Digital Solutions, and RKY Business Hub. Overall, her dedication reflects that she has the goal of empowering individuals to achieve a long-time success. Now, to the event I spoke about, Limitless Without Borders, you might be wondering, okay, what's this event about? What are you talking about? Yes, Limitless Without Borders is an RKY Tech networking event and award specially built to uplift ethnic minority and immigrant community. It aims to unite individuals from diverse backgrounds, facilitate networking, and offer valuable career opportunity. Now, there are some people that you might be wanting to connect to. You have sent them messages, you've sent them emails, and you cannot reach them. And when you end up seeing them at an event, it just clicks. The kind of opportunity and connection you've been trying to get for months, years even, you'll not be able to get it just via text or call or email. But when you see them face to face, you will get more than 50% of your plan done. That's when you'll be able to set up another meeting to meet or a time to jump on a call. Like you get to connect with them, talk. You just need to find that thing that at that value that aligns with them, and you get them talking. And you have some, maybe you've not been able to get their number, you'll be able to exchange numbers. You have their contact on your phone. But attending networking events, you tend to build connection faster. It's not just on LinkedIn that you build connection. Attend events and you see people that on a norms you will not even think of having anything to do with. Like, not that they are bad people. I'm just saying that your mind will not go to, oh, I should actually connect with this person. But when you see them physically, when you hear them speak, right? When you see that, oh, they're attending the same event as you, everything just click. And then you find yourself wanting to talk to them, wanting to have a relationship with them and the likes. And the same thing is what we are doing here at Limitless Without Border. It's not just an event for show. It's an event where we build connections, where we network. We are bringing people, founders in the industry that have built scalable businesses in the UK. We are bringing directors, a director from NHS. We are bringing global talent visa experts for those that are trying to get visa sponsorship in the UK and want to navigate through global talent visa. We are bringing innovator visa experts as well. So you have keynote speeches from industry leaders and experts, panel discussions around career, tech, finance, entrepreneurship, and much more. Award-winning ceremonies to celebrate trailblazers and visionary within the community. There's fun music. It's not just about learning, right? So there's music, entertainment, refreshments, and goodies, right? And now you're wondering, okay, it sounds good. Why should I attend? Here's why. You should attend to elevate your career, your network strategically with the right people to stand out in the competitive job market. We are also bringing recruiters. So imagine maybe a company that you've been trying to get into and the recruiter happened to be at this event. You know you've secured your connection because you can get to talk with a recruiter. Let them see your intellect. Let them see your creative mindset with the way you talk and the way you carry yourself. And then it leaves a seed in their mind. So if eventually when you decide, oh, okay, let me apply to this company again, they've related with you, they've spoken to you, they see how you carry yourself. It will be easy for them to put in the word that, oh, let's go for this person. I think he or she will be a great fit. Why? You've connected with them, right? People say, oh, when to get job in this company is all about connection. How about connecting to those kind of people so you can get a job in that company? And you can also be the connection for another person, right? Now we are hosting in two major cities, like I mentioned earlier, in London and in Lagos, right? We've had people come from different locations to London just for this event, right? And if you're thinking, oh, it's far from my place and the likes, we have people coming from your location as well. And we are doing this carpooling where we get people from a particular location to carpool down to London, right? And if you are thinking, oh, I have a child, where would I put my child? You need to worry about childcare. We also have that in place. There's a session where we hire an expert childcarer to take care of children. There'll be food, games, toys, everything they need just to enjoy, for you to enjoy your stay and not worry about caring for your child. We have it there. So I think there's nothing holding you back from attending this session and actually getting to speak and meet people. So if you're interested, I believe you will be interested, right? Support, can you please drop the link in the chat box? The link is in the chat box. The ticket just goes for £14 now. And before we increase the price again, because the price will go back to the original price, right? And before that happens, we want you to secure your ticket for £14 now and just save the date. If you're thinking, oh, I have work, how will I do it, and the likes, you can take a day off for that day. Just put it in early, put the request in early, so that you won't get the excuse of, oh, someone is off on that day, right? So once you book your ticket, it will be easy for you to plan your time around it. So yeah, let's move on. These are past highlights from last year's events. As you can see here, the keynote speaker, the lady who won the £5,000 for the pitch to win. We call it the Limitless Launchpad, where you pitch business ideas to win the sum of £5,000. People that got awards and the likes. This year is going to be much more. Last year we had 1,000 plus attendees, and this year we are hoping to get more than that, right? I mean, each year should be better than the last. Now, so the courses and training we offer are KY careers, data analysis and business intelligence, project management, and business analysis, advanced Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Scrum Master, and Product Owner, digital marketing. We also offer add-on services like CV optimization, career advisories, interview prep, LinkedIn optimization, professional portfolio, and full career rebrand. Now, when you take any of our boot camps, you get access to all this add-on. It's like a benefit that comes with the bootcamp, except professional portfolio that is strictly for data analysis students, right? So you can take, if you are here and you're still trying to decide where you want to go, you can take any of our bootcamps. Right now, let's go into what compliance actually is. Before I get started, does anybody have any questions? Let me just check the chat box to see if. Okay, so I got more people here. Okay. Mui Oluwa, you are actually on the right track, right? I can see you. I worked as a student engagement champion at my university in the UK, where I utilize student data to identify and provide appropriate support to students. Back in Nigeria, I worked as a tailor, and as a tailor, so my background is in this field is not direct. Okay, that's fine. Now, Chinyere said, Chineye said, I currently work as a paralegal in a UK law firm. I specialize in commercial and corporate law and a bit of private clients, and would like to transition into compliance and learn more. Okay, being a stay-at-home mom, and while in Nigeria, I worked as a fashion designer, although I have a degree in computer science. Can I transition to compliance? Yes, you can. I mentioned earlier that one of our students that came in the last masterclass to share a success story, one of the questions the people asked was that, did she have like prior background to compliance before transitioning, or she didn't have? And she stated clearly, she said she doesn't have. Like, she never did anything related to compliance, that she didn't even have transferable skills. Right? You know, if you work in customer service, some of your skills are transferable or KYC, yeah. But she didn't have that background, and yet she secured the role as a compliance analyst. And that was why we're able to call her back to come and share her success story, and also encourage people to join the bootcamp. Right? So if you are here and you don't have any background, you are still safe. Right? It's all about being open-minded and actually being willing to learn. Right? So someone asked, will this be available online, or it's a physical event? It's a physical event. You have to go to the location. Now, I remember you said you are in Nigeria, right? So we have one coming up in August 15 in Nigeria as well, Lagos to be precise. The location will be shared, will be announced soon, but you can look out for that one. Okay, so let's go to what compliance is and get started. Now, let me simplify it, right? People
Hi,
hear
Namaste.
compliance. I
Yeah, my hand was up.
Oh, sorry, Moyi. Okay, you can go ahead to speak, please.
Yeah, I noticed compliance was not part of the. I saw project management, Scrum Master, data analyst, but compliance was not actually part of it. That's why I'm asking, like I was
Oh,
confused.
actually, I think that's an omission from our end. It is part of it. That's a mistake from my end, and I apologize for that. Oh, it actually is. I didn't scroll down. Yeah, this is compliance and KYC and AML is there. I didn't scroll down. That's why
Oh,
you didn't
okay.
say it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Yes. So now people hear compliance and then they get worried that, oh, can I do this? It's so complex. It's so this. It's so that. That's not true, right? Let's say compliance is simply just doing things the right way according to the set rules, right? If you are a finance person, like let's say for example, if a bank allows fraud, they get fined. If a company misuses data or does money laundering, the company closes down, they get fined. Now, if processes are not followed, they get penalized. So compliance is that thing that prevents all this from happening, right? So it's not something complex. There are rules and regulations that each company, each organization has to follow. If you're a customer service person, there are rules you have to follow when dealing with customers, right? And let's say, for example, when you open a bank, maybe you are new to the bank, you've never used the bank before, and you do it online and you upload all your information, they will tell you it takes several days for you to get verified that the team is looking into it. That's KYC. That's KYC. They are getting your information to confirm if it is real, if it is accurate, right? So yes, it is. It looks the word is big, but it's actually very simple, right? Here we have it. You said compliance is an essential aspect of for governments and organizations across all jurisdictions. It ensures that they operate within the bound of the law, adhere to regulations, and meet ethical and industry standards. Now, compliance is a multifaceted concept that involves adhering to rules and regulation, standards, and ethical principles within a specific context, whether it's within a government, organization, or industry. Let me just put the screen in present mode so you can fully see my screen. Okay. Now, it encompasses a broad range of activities aimed at ensuring that an entity operates in a lawful, ethical, and responsible manner. Why do you think some people actually, maybe you get a particular deposit in your account, it triggers their system over there and they freeze the account? This is not your first time banking with them. This is not the first time you are transferring money. But for some reason, maybe there's a rule and regulation that the governments have set in, right? The minute you make that transfer, they will freeze the account. Why? Because it triggered a potential red flag for them, right? And they don't do it just because, oh, let's hold this person accountable, let's hold this person's account. They do it because it is the rule, is a regulation that they have to follow, right? Do you guys understand what I mean, please? Hello?
Yes, we
I
do.
we
Yes.
Okay,
understand.
so to get you guys speaking, can anyone give me an example of where rules must be followed in real life? Now, I've used bank, right? What other organization have these rules that they put in place to ensure that everything is in order, or like the rules according to the government that have been introduced of recent? Can someone give me an example? It can be a rule anywhere, UK, Nigeria, it doesn't matter.
I'm not sure, but I think I heard of one. This that there is an amount you can withdraw with your card. I don't know if it's true. I think it's true because people were saying it in the internet. Not sure.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's true. I heard that rule too. That when you go to the ATM in Nigeria, right?
No, in the UK, not Nigeria. In the
In
UK,
the UK, okay, yes, I
yeah,
also
there's an
heard that,
amount you can
and it's
withdraw.
also visible too in Nigeria, where you cannot in Nigeria you cannot withdraw more than 20K from your ATM in a bank, right? I don't know if they've lifted the rule now, but as at then, you cannot withdraw more than 20. If you put 40K, it won't come out. So you have to do, let's say you want to withdraw 100K, right? You have to do 20K in five times. You can't withdraw the whole 100K at once, right? So there are
Yeah,
rules like that are set in place because of, for one reason or the other, right? And the bank has to follow. The bank has to follow those rules, right? So yeah, the team that is responsible for ensuring that these rules are followed to the letter, those are the compliance team, right? So let's move to the next one. Now, what does compliance entails? Now, compliance encompasses a wide array of rules, regulation, and ethical standards that individuals, businesses, and organizations must adhere to. It is a fundamental aspect of conducting operation within the UK and ensuring that activities are conducted legally, ethically, and responsibly. It covers areas such as financial regulation, data protection, AML, that's anti-money laundering, GDPR, and more compliance ensures and more rather compliance ensures that activities are conducted legally, right? Now, financial regulations are those rules that we, like examples, right? Then data protection, one of the common rule is that if you like take data from people, like their name, their information, you are not permitted to share it online except there's a clause on whatever they signed. That clause, most people don't read those rules, the policies, whenever they are signing something online. Maybe you are registering for something and they bring that you should click that you accept these rules and this policy and the likes. Most people just go ahead to accept, they don't read it. Well, I'm guilty of that as well, but then most people don't, right? And it's maybe when something goes wrong and then the company will now come out to say, oh, it is in our policy, and you accepted that, you are okay with it, you clicked the button to accept, and then there'll be nothing for you to do, right? And then that's why you cannot see that when your except banks where they have your BVN information, right? That is now shared across all bank. But before you would have to approve that your information should be shared, right? A company that gets people's information and then show them online for every other person to see without the person's consent is going against the data protection rule, right? Now, anti-money laundering is when uh, uh, the bank, now when they seize your accounts, right? Maybe you made a very, very huge transaction and someone saw that as a red flag, or it triggered something in their system, and then they freeze your account. I mean, some people in the company that are into anti-money laundering, just by looking at the person, or the a person's account, they can say, this looks shady, let's flag it. And then they will now start doing their own investigation, right? So that's where when they see a particular account, there's no particular source that shows that, okay, you are earning this money in bulk, you are getting millions of pounds into your account deposited every week. The first time can go, okay, the second time can go, but you see the third time, the fourth time, that's no longer a coincidence, it's a trend, and then we flag it, right? So all these things are related to compliance, right? Yeah. So let now essentials for the compliance field. Getting into the compliance field typically requires a combination of skills and practical experience. in the compliance sector, like any other field. Okay, hold on. Okay, I think there's no full stop here, right? There should be a full stop here, but let's continue. The compliance sector, like any other field, has its essentials that individuals and organizations need to consider before they can effectively function. Now, in the legal industry, right? Legal industry knowledge, right? A deep understanding of relevant UK laws and regulation, including industry-specific regulation, is essential. Compliance professionals must keep up to date with changes. Now, I've had people talk about, oh, them having law background, and I think someone mentioned that he or she is a paralegal in a UK firm. Now, all this, I'm very sure she knows the laws and regulations that goes around the legal industry specific regulation. Am I right? I think it was Chineye that mentioned that. I'm not sure. Or yes, Chineye. Chineye, can you attest to that? That there are rules and regulations around the UK law that you guys have to follow in your firm?
Yes, you're correct.
Thank you. So I think I have to share my screen again. I have to present. Okay, yeah. So yes, so these rules keep the legal industry, and it is compulsory that as a compliance person with legal background, maybe you're working as a compliance person in the law firm, you have to keep up to date with these changes, right? Because you have to make sure the company is going in line with those rules and regulation, and they are not defaulting. Now, we have regulatory framework, familiarizing yourself with the specific regulatory bodies and agencies relevant to your field. In the UK, this might include the Financial Conduct Authority, that's the FCA, and the Information Commissioner Office, that's the ICO, right? We also have training and education sector. Ongoing training and education are necessary to ensure that employees understand compliance requirements and how to meet them. So when a company, when they hire you, they train you. Even if you have all the knowledge, they are going to retrain you, because in their mind you are coming newly, so you need to relearn everything again. And some companies is every 6 months, every 3 months, their employees are taking courses again, like to learn all over again, just in case maybe they forget something and the likes. Now, so companies have put all this thing in place so that they won't be found defaulting in the rules and regulation. Now, data protection and privacy measures. Compliance with data protection regulations, including GDPR, is crucial. This includes data security, consent management, and data breach reporting. Remember, I mentioned that every company and organization need your consent before sharing your data, right? And when you open apps or sign forms, they would ask you to accept all this policy. And the minute you sign that, you accept, anything they do with that, you have no say over it anymore, right? The only difference, I know someone that whenever she wants to sign anything, she takes pictures of them. Even online, where you tick and they do this verify that you are human stuff, right? That thing she reads. I said I'm guilty of not reading. I have a friend, she reads them and she takes screenshot of them, just in case anything happens. She can tell you, oh, you added this, was not there before, you added it to it, right? We also have financial compliance. Financial institutions must have robust AML and CTF measures to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing, right? This is why you will hear of big companies and they will be arrested for money laundering, fraud, right? You will hear, oh, the CEO committed fraud with the company's money. How did they find out? This is the work of financial institutions, banks, to ensure that. That's why everything right now is digitized, right? So there's always a trace. There's always a trace for everything, right? And that is the work of a compliance person or an AML person, finding those loopholes, right? Now, essentials for compliance field also include analytical skills, ability to analyze and identify risks associated with non-compliance, and implement measures to mitigate them. I'm very sure people, it doesn't matter if you are in the compliance field or not, there are certain people that they love to analyze stuff, right? They just cannot do without it, right? So now, if you are that kind of person, if you're that kind of person, right, then you can go into compliance because you have the analytical skills. You're able to identify risks on time, sense those things, and also do something about it. You don't need to know everything, but you need to understand how it works, basically, right? If you can think like someone that can spot risks, then compliance is for you. If you are here and you enjoy analyzing things, right, spotting mistake, then compliance is for you, right? So it's not all about knowing everything. You just need to know the right things for the field, right? Now, problem solving, developing effective solution to address compliance challenges, communication skills, articulating complex regulations and compliance requirements to various stakeholders in an understandable manner, right? How many of you have watched Suits? How many of you know that series called Suits? If you have watched it, you can just raise up your hand. Or you can say yes. You can speak to say yes. How many? I can't really see my screen, but I know people are raising up their hand. So can you like just mute your mic and say yes if you have watched Suits?
Yes, I have.
Okay, thank you. Now, if you remember Avi, right? And what's the name of this other guy? This is intern that became his I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name. But the two of them have this habit of whenever they go out and they want to argue, they say a lot of jargons, words that you cannot remember. I mean, legal terms. But they go ahead to break it down. And they say it in this manner that says, in case you don't understand what we mean, when they break it down in a very, very simple manner that if you are watching and you don't understand what they said before, you'll be able to understand and actually catch on, right? Communication skills. You need to be able to break down regulations in an understandable manner for everybody in your company to understand and even you to understand. It's not just reading the text. Oh, this is what they said. How else can you put it down for people to understand, right? You also have ethical judgment and integrity, ensuring that the organization operates within ethical guidelines and maintain a culture integrity. Now, confidentiality, right? Safeguarding sensitive information and maintaining discretion. Now, in that suit, there's a section where a client confided in one of the lead actors because the client wanted to go against him, right? And he knows that as the lawyer is his lawyer, he cannot use that information against him. So he went ahead to confide in, I think the lead actor was Avi, right? He went ahead to confide in Avi. And by the time they showed different things and they found out that this guy wanted to like go against them, right? They now found that Avi cannot actually say anything in court or go to court as a defense lawyer against the client. Why? Because he was the lawyer's client before, and that information was confided to him when he was still the client was still under Avi's retainer. So he cannot use any information that he knows, right? He can't even tell someone that, oh, let me tell you, and no, he can't. So it was like, although they figure out a way around it, but that's where confidentiality comes in, right? Anything you discuss in terms of maybe as a lawyer or sensitive informations, they cannot be let out. I think someone is asking a question. Client, thank you, Chisom. Client attorney privilege, right? You can't, thank you so much, Chisom. You can't discuss that. And that's where confidentiality comes in, right? There's some information. That's why you go to organizations or you watch movies that police officers will go to organizations and they will tell you, oh, we don't disclose our clients' information. It's against their rule. It's against the rule of the government as well. Or that's when until the police officers will have to go and look for a warrant before they can have access to that information. And it's only if that information they want access to can help their case in one way or the other. If it is not substantial enough to help their case, they are not getting that warrant, right? So yeah, confidentiality is very, very important. It's also part of compliance. Okay, so let's move on. Other skills needed in the compliance field: risk assessment, documentation, and record keeping. So if you are good at documenting stuff and you are good at keeping records of things, like you have a very, very good skills of keeping records, you know how to align it, organize information and the likes. You have that skills. The GDPR, data protection, continuous improvement, financial sanctions, strategic thinking, KYC and AML, legal, industry knowledge, right? Now, note, anyone keen on sufficient interest, training, or certification can switch to any career path of their choice, right? So don't say, oh, I don't have that skills. I know what it takes to be a compliance person. I've never worked in the field before. That's a lie. You can do it, right? So now, this is where most people underestimate the role, right? You need to know that compliance is not just about reading policies, right? Now you will be investigating, you'll be questioning, you'll be communicating findings, right? If something looks a little bit suspicious, you must have the confidence to talk about it, to inform someone that, okay, this looks suspicious, let's do more findings, let's investigate and the likes, right? Now, all these skills, right, don't allow it to scare you that, oh, financial sanction, what does that mean? Risk assessment, what does that mean? They're just big grammars, right? They shouldn't scare you. Let's just say it's a structured way of saying check your customers, monitor transaction, and identify risks, right? That's just basically what we are saying, right? So now you might be wondering, okay, I went back. Okay, potential career paths. What are the potential career paths I can go into and the likes? We have legal compliance analysts. So if you're in the legal background and you're wondering, oh, where can I go? You can't go into this field, right? You can also, as a legal person, you can also do KYC as well. We have risk manager. If you are good at identifying risks, you are good at mitigating it and managing risk, then this is for you. Financial crime analysts. Now, I think someone mentioned earlier that they are in the financial sector and they presently, I want to check that out. I don't want to miss. Yeah, fraud investigation and officer, right? That's what they said they currently are. They can go into financial crime analyst or AML compliance analyst. Because as an AML person, you need to be good with fraud as well. And as a financial crime person, financial crime, we are saying that in Nigeria, we call that EFCC, right? So yeah, you can go into financial crime analyst too as well. And these are the salary range for each and every role, right? Okay, let's move forward. So now you might be wondering why compliance remains a strong part. Maybe wondering, okay, so you have said all these things, why compliance, right? Now compliance, entering the compliance field can be a very rewarding and promising career, right? You get to learn a lot of things, you get to work on different things, right? Now it is high demand, actually. You see with roles and the most compliance, I think my boss mentioned one time that a marketing firm was looking for a compliance person, but with a little bit of marketing background. So every company actually needs a compliance person. It's not a role that will go into extension, right? It's not. So every company, it doesn't matter the organization. It's not just about legal firms and banking industries now, right? Every company needs a compliance person, right? The regulatory landscape is complex and constantly evolving. Businesses and organizations require compliance professionals to help them navigate and adhere to these regulations, right? Why do you think companies hire in-house lawyers with compliance background? It's not just that the lawyer will be defending them in courts. No, the lawyer will not just be defending them in court, right? The lawyer will also be helping them adhere to this regulation. Who here has watched Yellowstone? No, not Yellowstone. Is it? I can't remember. It's Fire something, right? It's about a man that was an oil rig, and he has a land. For some weird reason, I can't remember the name of that movie, but they had a lawyer. The lawyer was a lady. They had a former lawyer before, and then they now sent a lady lawyer to represent. And this lady is very, very good. She went in for a deposition, and in that deposition, a, a guy made a comment about her. Now, the deposition was just to get them to sign, come to an agreement, right? For them to come to an agreement, probably talk to them to reduce the charges and accept the settlements and the likes, right? But she went in there looking for something to nail them down, right? Meanwhile, she has coded the company that she works for that, oh, you guys shouldn't have done this, it's against the rules, you should have done this instead, and the likes. But she went in there, right? And what she did blew my mind. This is why. Now, the guy made a comment, and in that minute, she had listed about seven different rules that the guy went against just with that statement. And then she now used that as like a stepping stone to counter all the claims that they made. And then she brought out rules and regulations. Oh, okay, do you know about this before they did this? They said, yes, we knew about it, but it was supposed to be to a particular timeline. But so everything after that timeline, they didn't know. And then she redirected it again. At the end of the day, the settlement reduced. She told them that if they so as much come up with any other law situations and the likes, and to sue them, she's going to sue them for. She listed a number of things that she's going to sue them for. And then she told the other in-house lawyer to stay behind and make sure they sign that contract. And she walked out. Now, the only reason why she can do this is because she has knowledge. She knows what the company should do. She knows what they should not do. And she used everything, even the other company that were suing, she used everything that they said, she used it against them. Right? So it is every company has an in-house person. The person might be a lawyer, the person might be a compliance person, but each of these people, they have compliance background, right? It's not just about being a lawyer, right? You need to have the background to work in certain companies. If you're just a lawyer, yeah, you will work in a law firm or work as a paralegal analyst. But when you have compliance background, it becomes an higher ground for you, right? Because now you now broaden the industries you can work in. It's not just restricted to law firms, right? I think someone mentioned the person is a paralegal but wants to transition into compliance. Now, as a paralegal, if you get the compliance skills right now, you are opening the room for you to work not just in the law industry. You can work in tech companies, right? You can work in finance companies as well. Not obviously not a money related matter, but as either their inner counsel with compliance background, right? So yes, there's a starting point. That's why it is very, very much in high demand, and it cannot, like, it can't fade away. Right now, career stability. Compliance is an essential function in various industries, ensuring the legality and ethical conduct of businesses. This makes compliance role relatively stable, and even relatively stable even during economic downtimes, right? So even when companies are laying off workers, the companies hit a rock bottom, the company or the economy is not stable enough for them to continue, there's career stability because they will need your advice. They will need your guidance. Okay, we have a lawsuit coming our way and the company is not stable, we are going bankrupt and the likes. What do we do? How do we do it? Most times the owner of those companies don't yield the advice of their counsel, right? Or their compliance person. Obviously, sometimes CEOs can be like, oh no, this is what I want to do. I want to do it my way. But irrespective of how they want to do it, they still say counsel, right? So yes, there's financial stability. Even when every other person is losing their job, they keep their compliance and in-house consults. They keep them. So yes, there's career stability. Now, diverse career opportunity. The compliance field offers a wide range of career opportunity in various sectors, including finance, healthcare, environmental, and data protection compliance. So yes, when you have those skills, remember I mentioned earlier that there's a marketing firm, right? And they needed a compliance analyst with marketing background. You might be wondering how, because when my boss was making mention of it, I was like, what does compliance have to do with marketing? Right? I did my own research, obviously, because I wanted to know what it was about. But imagine you as a compliance person having that skills, right? Or you as a marketing person, or you that have customer service background, or you that have finance background, and your finance background, you only did a bit of compliance, a bit of KYC, but you didn't go into details. And then you now take this bootcamp and know the nitty-gritty, and then channel it and align it with your background, wherever you are coming from. And now you can now stand on your 2 feet and say, oh yeah, I'm a compliance person. You can go to interview and tell relatable stories, make examples, and the likes. Diverse career opportunity. So you are not just limited to one particular industry. You have the right to apply for jobs. You can apply for jobs in different industry and you will still get a job. Why? Because it cuts across several industries. Every industry needs a compliance person. Right. Global relevance, skills and knowledge gained in the compliance field can be transferable internationally as regulatory and ethical standards are increasingly becoming global. Right. So you might be wondering, oh, I'm in Nigeria. Why should I take this bootcamp? Our regulatory and ethical standards are not the same. Do you know they are improving it every day? They are improving it every day. And every rule and regulation now doesn't just apply to the country you are in, right? As long as you have something, you can be in Nigeria, but your business is in the UK. You are adhering to both Nigeria and UK ethical standards and regulatory rules. So yes, it has global relevance. So if a company now has a business in the UK and also has a business in Nigeria, you need someone that has knowledge of the regulatory and ethical standard of the UK market as well, not just Nigeria, so that you will know that you are following both rules effectively, right? So yes, it has global relevance. Now, competitive compensation. Compliance professionals are often well compensated due to the critical nature of their roles and the specialized knowledge required, right? That's why you can see a particular role starting from 40K, 50K, 60K, like that yearly. So they are actually often well paid, right? We've seen people that finished the data analysis bootcamp and they came back to take the compliance bootcamp. We had one of our students that got a role as a compliance data analyst, right? And that was because he had two backgrounds that he could combine together, right? Now, also, we have personal growth. Compliance professionals can progress into leadership roles, shaping the compliance culture within organization and making strategic decisions. We also have global regulatory trend. The UK often align its regulations with international standards. This means that professionals in the UK compliance field can be well prepared to work on international compliance issues. So let's say you studied maybe your MSc or BSc, you did international business, and then you now say, okay, let me go ahead to do the compliance bootcamp. Do you know that you can work anywhere just with the certificate you have and the skills you're going to learn in the compliance bootcamp, right? So, and you can be in Nigeria, work in the US, work in the UK. We once had a student that was in Nigeria and took the bootcamp. He took the bootcamp like a year before he even traveled to the UK. And when he got to the UK, he got his first job 3 months after being in the UK. When he came back to us for reference. That was when we called him to just get a brief background And that was when he told us, oh, he was actually in Nigeria when he took the boot camp, right? That he just took it because he wanted to like have that knowledge and use it in his day-to-day work. That he didn't have any idea that was even going to be able to travel to the UK. And then he traveled. And 3 months into his stay in the UK, he got a job. He got a job in the finance. And mind you, this person did not have finance background. The person did not actually have a finance background. That's the most interesting part about it. So yes, every skill you learn in the boot camp will come in handy, and you can always put it in whatever career path you're coming from, regardless of whether you have that background or not. Right? So let's move on, because I want to introduce one of our students to you to talk about our experience in the bootcamp. Now, let's talk about the UK Compliance Bootcamp. It's comprehensive, right? Our bootcamp, it was actually 5 weeks before, and it was always held every Saturday. But this year, we thought about it, and we're like, okay, we want to give people more. We want people to learn more. We want it to cover as much as possible. And now it is 6 weeks every Saturday and Sunday. And then you have real world cases to solve as well. Projects, like personal projects you need to deliver. So you don't just attend class and that's the end. No. You have personal projects that you need to deliver. Right? So now when you're taking our bootcamp, you get several benefits, right? And the bootcamp is designed to take you from 0 to 100. Now, some of our bootcamps, right, whenever we have maybe our online webinars and our students come to present what the project they've done, the project they've worked on, one of the questions they get asked is that, oh, did you have prior knowledge before taking this bootcamp? Because you sound so professional and so fluent. And they will tell them, no, actually, my team is a team that none of us knew anything. We just knew and had that mind that we need to make something of this bootcamp. We need to learn as much as we can learn. And our project back then is always within 8 weeks for that bootcamp. So it took them 8 weeks to go from someone that had literally no knowledge, no background, to someone that people are asking, oh, did you have previous knowledge before? Right. And each of our bootcamp is designed like that. You have facilitators that will push you to learn, push you to keep growing, encourage you, give you examples that are relatable that you can use in your day-to-day life, right? And our bootcamp provides comprehensive training aimed at equipping professionals with the knowledge and skills necessary to navigate the intricate landscape of UK compliance. This bootcamp has been thoughtfully designed to equip participants with the essential knowledge and skills required to excel in the complex world of compliance. Our approach focuses on practicality. I mentioned that before, ensuring that you not only grasp the theory but also learn how to apply it effectively, which is where your personal project comes in, because you'll be asked questions that will get you thinking of how to apply it in real world scenarios. By the end of the bootcamp, you will have a thorough understanding of compliance, be well versed in best practices, and possess the confidence to make informed compliance decisions. So quickly, what our bootcamp is. Now, there is virtual, it's not physical. We have real life scenarios. It comes with interview preparation that happens every Thursday after your bootcamp. You have quiz and competency tests. After every class, you have quiz that you have to answer to show that you understand, right? You have practical case studies. You get UK job reference. You get certificate of completion, access to our learning management system, which is the LMS, and that's where we upload. The classes are always recorded, right? So you are there, we upload the recording. So even if you miss a class, you can always go back to watch the recording to learn, right? And even if after the bootcamp you still want to go back to watch the recording, you can always go back to watch the recording. We have the post bootcamp and alumni support. We have the monthly alumni webinar that we do to teach our students new things that are happening in the job market. You get your CV and LinkedIn optimized, and you have your final project cases to be resolved as well. Also, now, who can take this course? The course is ideal for bankers and finance financial professionals moving into compliance. So for the person working as a fraud investigation officer, this is for you. For the person that has 17 years plus banking experience, this is also for you. Foreign trained lawyer and ex-bankers, if you're a trained lawyer, someone said they have, I think multiple people said they have legal background, and another person said she's a paralegal. So yes, this course is for you. Anyone seeking a career in KYC or compliance. So this one is, it doesn't matter your experience, even if you don't have any experience, as long as you are seeking to transition and you are willing to put in the work. Now, emphasis on willing to put in the work, because it doesn't come easy. All right. If you register for a boot camp, you need to put in the work, ask question in class. If the facilitator says, oh, does anybody have question? And you know you don't understand anything, ask. Attend the classes, watch recordings. Then if you can do all that, this is for you. Accountants, CEOs, or corporate executives that just want to have that skills, this is for you. Risk managers, this is also for you. Right now, some competencies you gain in our compliance bootcamp: comprehensive regulatory knowledge, KYC and AML, GDPR, data protection and privacy expertise, transaction monitoring, financial sanction, risk assessment and mitigation, customer due diligence, they call that CDD, right? And we have MIFT as well. These are the competencies and skills and things that will be covered in the boot camp. Right. Now, some roles to apply for after the boot camp: AML analyst, compliance analyst, risk analyst, KYC analyst, compliance officer, data protection officer, regulatory affairs specialist, compliance risk manager, policy and procedure analyst, business compliance analyst. So if you're a business analyst and you want to transition into compliance, see one of the roles you can apply for. And we didn't even put all the roles there, because we have fraud analyst as well, right? We have risk and fraud manager as well. We have KYC, quality control analyst, AML investigator. So before I read our success stories for you to see what it's about, okay, let's talk about the eligibility for visa sponsorship. So I read from the comment section that someone said that they are on graduate visa and they are looking for sponsorship, and you are wondering, oh, will I be able to get sponsorship in compliance? Right? Yes, you will be able to get sponsorship. 1 second, please. Okay, you will be able to get sponsorship in compliance, right? Some of the compliance related rules are on the UK Skilled Workers Occupation list with the code. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, please, you can. And if you want the code, you can always copy it out of the screen. Some of the codes are 2419, 2440, 2462, 2482, and 3520 respectively, right? Under 3520, you have legal associates professionals, right? You have, look at the roles that under, and see the salary range as well. Under 2482, you have quality assurance and regulatory professionals as well. And under 2462, you have probation officers. We have recently, one of our students got a role as a probation officer actually, and it came with a sponsorship as well. Now, the 2419, legal professional, not elsewhere classified. And then we have the 2440, that's business and financial project management professionals, people that have compliance skills and they can use it in the business and finance sector as well. Please 1 second. Okay, so yeah, now compliance, KYC, and AML opportunities. So 2440, like I mentioned earlier, the sub code for compliance specialists in services, right? 2482, quality assurance and regulatory, code for regulatory compliance professionals, and 2462, business and financial project manager. So if you have a project manager background, you can take on the compliance course to become a financial project manager, right? The code covering probation officer roles. Right now, strategic positioning team. Use targeted titles like compliance analyst, AML officer, or KYC specialist. Emphasize regulatory understanding, due diligence processes, and compliance reporting. Right. Includes specific language. Ensure onboarding met FCA and AML guidelines or reduced compliance risks by 40%. Right. And these are some of our success stories from those that have taken bootcamp and the reviews. As you can see here, some of the reviews that our students have left for us. Before I read that, I want two people to speak. One is our guest speaker. Her name is Dora Nwachukwu. Dora is a payroll compliance and governance specialist at a global retail company where she makes sure business processes are compliant with GDPR and other data protection laws across 17 plus countries. Remember, I mentioned that you can compliance has global relevance, right? And you can be a compliance person and be in a country but be working across multiple companies. Multiple countries. Then yeah, you have your evidence, right? So before I go into details, I'll allow her to speak for herself. She's one of our alumni. Dora, are you available now, please?
Yes, I am. Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for creating time for this. I know you have a busy day, but thank you. Really appreciate it.
It's okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Dora Nwachukwu. I studied law back in Nigeria and worked a couple of years in Nigeria before I relocated to the UK. And when I relocated to the UK, I came in to study Masters in Intellectual Property and Information Law, which I did. And during my Masters, the regulation we usually used, majority of our regulation was the GDPR and the Data Protection Act of 2018. But even after studying all of that and graduating, what you learn is the theory of what the GDPR is, what the chapters are, what the principles are, and what you are supposed to apply them to. But I didn't really know the practical aspect, what it would require to actually do all of this in the real sense in the UK corporate market, basically, because all I knew was Nigeria. And that was when I decided to join the July bootcamp of the year. I joined my RKY, the UK Compliance and GDPR bootcamp. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. Is that what it's called?
Yes, please.
Yes. So when I joined, the tutor who took us was very, very explanatory in what the GDPR requires of compliance officers in your day-to-day at work. And so the bootcamp taught me how all of this, including the assessments and the final project, they all combined together. They taught me how to apply these principles that I've learned in school in a real life sense, the kind of questions that will come up and the kind of questions that interviewers require you to answer when you're interviewing for these roles. So it kind of prepared me for what I should be expecting when I start working, the kind of things that it require me to do. It just made sure the book can help me see that despite how difficult the entire thing sounds, it's actually quite simple. You can actually learn. Sure, it requires a lot of effort, but these things are doable. And the market is not asking you to do things that are out of, say, what the regulation provides. It's just, this is what we need you to do, but you need to know how to apply all of them just so you don't make mistakes. I would say though that one of the things that really, really helped, aside from the lectures that we had to attend every weekend and the tutor's very, very good way of explaining our questions, what really helped was another thing that really helped was the optimization of my CV and LinkedIn. With my CV, after it was optimized for the roles I was applying to, which were compliance roles and data protection roles, after it was optimized, I started getting more interviews. People started opening my CVs more. If I applied for 10 jobs in a week, I would get 8 interview invitations based on the editing, based on how optimized my CV now became after joining the bootcamp. So that was something that really helped. And when they now call me in for interviews, I know what to say because I attended all the classes that we were supposed to attend during the bootcamp, and I attended the interview sessions, and I was always very, active and asking questions. So I had all that I required for interview sessions. That was how much impact that bootcamp did for my employment life in this UK. And the LinkedIn optimization as well. I could literally wake up every day and see that 30 recruiters have viewed my profile, and then they are sending me messages saying, "Oh, when are you available for a call? And let's talk about this. Just went through your CV, we just went through your profile, and we think you're good for this role." And I think after doing the bootcamp, I don't think I spent a lot of time on applications before I got my current offer that I accepted and started working with this particular company. And then when I got in, because what you learn from this bootcamp doesn't even end after you get the job, it also equips you for the job itself, especially if you're new in the UK market. When I started working and I started seeing the things, my tasks that I needed to complete, I was really glad to know that it's not way different from what I was told from the bootcamp, because it is slightly different from what you learn from school. Like I said, school is just theory, but having someone explain the practical aspect and telling you that there is no need to be afraid when you see certain things like this. You don't have to know everything, just know where to find the information. That really, really helps. And it helped me to ease into my organization, because I joined as a specialist. It wasn't a low officer role, it wasn't an advisor. I was a specialist, which means it's a senior role, like mid-level role. So it was really good to enter there and not start flustering about. So yeah, that is my success story in summary, because if I keep talking, we're going to sleep here.
Thank you so much, Dora. Does anybody have any question for Dora, please? Any question? Any of you want to ask? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question. Hello.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Yes.
Dora, please, when you joined your current employment,
yeah,
were you trained at some point before you started working?
So because it's a specialist role, they do not give me the kind of training that they will give advisors like junior level roles. So when I started, I had an onboarding process of 3 weeks. And that onboarding was because my organization is in over 17 plus countries, like I just mentioned. So, and I was employed the international team, right? So I'm working with different markets. So it was just me meeting the right people in different markets, and they were all senior people. So the senior editor, the payroll manager from Bangladesh, the one of this from Ireland, the one of that. So senior people just talking about, okay, this is what I do every day in my role, and this is how it interfaces with your role. So I did not have the typical training of when you come in, this is the file you open. I entered there as a specialist. And this month just completed 6 months so far, and I've only had fantastic reviews from my manager. I just completed my probation review, so I guess
congratulations.
Thank you.
So, what I wanted to ask: do you used to get stuck at some point on the job, and how do you go about it? Because they hired you as a specialist, believing you already have the experience.
Yes.
So when you get stuck, how do you go about it?
My manager. That's the fantastic thing about the UK market. It was so different from, no offense, but it's quite different from the Nigerian market. In this country, they want you to ask questions. they would rather you ask questions than go and just mess things up. So they were willing to, I could literally ask I could ask 10 questions and my manager will carefully explain every single question. In fact, the fact that you ask questions shows them that you're actually very eager to learn, and it makes them feel like, sorry, did you say something?
No, I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
Okay, so asking questions makes them feel like you are really interested in the job and you've just imbibed everything and you want to learn. So they are always eager to. No question is too stupid or too small with my manager. So I would just say I got really lucky. But I work with different teams as well. So I work with the P&C team. That's HR. I work with the merchandising team and all of that, and they have the same experiences because when new people come in, I also have to talk to them during part of their onboarding processes, and they explain the same thing. Your manager is always eager to tell you what you need to know. Just ask questions. However, you must have some certain level of knowledge for the role you're entering. That's what RKY will do. Yes, that's what RKY will do for you. And because, again, I was a lawyer in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, once you're a lawyer, everybody assumes you have to do everything, you know everything. So all that knowledge you've acquired all your years in different aspects in your life, different locations, they are useful. They will come up one day in your new role. Because a lot of times they are just applied questions. Just use your intuition to just know what you need to do. But the basic things, where to find the law, how to apply the law, the markets that it's applied to, you will learn from RQI. And if you don't know, your manager will tell you.
The reason why I asked this question is I did banking. I did banking in Nigeria for over 12 years before moving over, and I used to work with, sometimes I was in retail and later moved to public sector. But once in a while I work with the compliance team that works with EFCC. So I understand that RKY. I know I will do well in this career. But what you said is surprising. I just pray after this training I'll have the same experience, because I joined Lloyds Bank here, and I don't want to use the R word. I don't know what community, people in this community. It was a different ball game. Okay.
Oh, no.
The supposed manager was supposed to be happy the way you asking question. Rather used my own questions against me, and I was just it was so toxic for me. I practically had to leave, and I was working on eggshell all through.
And this was a compliance role?
No, it wasn't compliance though. It wasn't compliance. It was just a junior role. Then I was like, let me just get a UK experience on my CV to see if I could not get another organization that will not take me. Do you get? Having broken my CV with Lloyds, but it wasn't funny, and it kind of now made me. I had to go back to side job. Do you get? It hampered. It dealt with my confidence. So I'm hoping that. So sorry. I'm hoping that this training, because I know it's my field and back home, and I know I'll do well in it. But I'm just hoping that when we're done with the training, I hopefully get gainfully employed with all this financial sector. If we need subsequent should I say follow up or clarification on the job, does this group, or does RKY have that room where you can easily get back to the facilitators to seek clarification in a certain area where you're getting stuck? Peradventure, your upline that's supportive.
Oh yeah, because first of all, we are currently in an alumni group, and you can always ask questions in your alumni group. Like I've left, I think I was the 2025. This is 2026. I was the 2025 bootcamp, July bootcamp. This 2026. I'm still in that group. People still ask questions in that group, and you're gonna get
like a group chat.
Yes,
is it like
anyone
can. Okay.
Yes, please. Everyone can ask your own questions, and you get responses. Also, the RKY team as well, they are always available on WhatsApp, on email. If they need to even call you for clarification, they will as well. So if it's for that support after you've been gainfully employed, that is not a big deal. They have that.
It's very
I also
important.
want to I also want to say that for banking as well, coming into compliance, you are going to do really well, because my colleague in my team, one of the colleagues in my team, he came from banking as well, and he's doing really well. You understand? He came from banking and he's doing really well in compliance. And with compliance, everybody expects you to ask questions. I don't know the role you did there with Lloyd. That
Yeah, compliance is all about probing processes,
yeah,
probing
everyone
procedures.
expects you to ask questions. I'm currently chasing a couple of documents for an audit right now. Do you know how many back and forth email we've done? We've done so much. If these people have their way, they'll literally come to me and say, Dora, please, leave me alone. But there's nothing I can do. It's the job. Don't just take,
yes, it's
I
the
would
job.
just say is when you start, don't take things personal. Get your job done. Know that you're there to do your job, and your job is to ask questions. Why is so and so thing not happening? This is what needs to be applied. What do we have to do to get it compliant? You're going to be working in a very collaborative environment when you're dealing with compliance because you work with everybody. I would say that my background in law helps me understand the importance of working with everybody, because if you are working as a lawyer in any legal team, you must have interfaced with every single person. So that has happened. But my colleague that is from banking is doing well. I also have another colleague from precious metals. That one is also really doing well, because at the end of the day, the compliance, there's a template, but like you can always squeeze and bend it to get the results that everyone needs. So questions are normal. There's no funny question. There's no foolish question. Even the simplest thing can be asked and you get a response.
Thank you so much, Dora.
You're welcome.
I wanted to ask
Thank you, Dora. Thank you, Winnie.
Sorry, I wanted to ask Dora a question, but I don't want it. I don't know if it's possible to ask a private question. But let's continue. If it's possible, I can chat in on the Teams.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Moyi, your hand is up.
Yes, I just want to ask Dora. Thanks for sharing your experience. During the boot camp, I also ask if, because there are some times that when I go online, I notice that there are some tools that you need to be familiar with as a data governance, like if you're in that field. During your boot camp, were you put through with any of the tools? Like, did you make use of any of the tools during the...
What tools are those, please?
I can't remember, but I know there are some tools. Is it Asana? No, it's not Asana. I can't remember this thing. Because there was a time not even there was a time that so many times I've gone through the compliance jobs online, and I noticed they will tell you must have experience in it. I can't remember, maybe unless I open my laptop and I start searching for them. So, but I know that.
Okay.
So currently you are in that field, and you know the tools you make use of, like were you during the boot camp, did they put you through all these tools, or how were you able to maneuver your way through?
I'm not particularly sure. You'll probably have to talk to the RKY team about certain tools, but during my boot camp, the tools that they teach you how to use are tools that are very specific to compliance. So they'll teach you how to use Companies House. They'll teach you how to use all the tools that you require to get your job done. They'll teach you how to study, find the right materials, use LexisNexis and study your GDPR and all of that. Those things are what you require to do the job. I'm not sure they taught anyone how to use Microsoft Teams, which is what you mostly use at work during your meetings. You're going to be having most of your meetings on Microsoft Teams. If you need to do further research, every single company in this UK have their Red Book, they have their SharePoint folders and platform where they share information. That is something that you would have probably learned on the job if you don't know how to use SharePoint right now, but you can literally ask ChatGPT to put you through the basics of SharePoint. But you can also learn on the job if you don't know how to use SharePoint. But I would just say the most basic tool you use in compliance is your Microsoft Teams, because you're going to be in meetings. You can be in meetings from morning to night. You're always going to be in meetings. So learn how to speak in meetings, learn how to give presentations, because you're going to be giving presentations. So that means you should already know how to use PowerPoint. You're going to be talking to a lot of people. You're going to be convincing people why we need certain controls for certain issues while you're able. For instance, in my role, when I started, within these 6 months, I have created 6 policies for my organization, and my organization is international. So these are policies that are used in the international market. And I have to prove that these policies are required as controls for certain risks that I kept seeing when I joined. So that required certain presentations to not just my manager, but to people who are way higher than my manager, to the global process owners and things like that. So you probably need to learn how to speak, how to present your findings, how to present your solutions, and probably have to give training, because I also currently give GDPR trainings to my team, and we're over like 80 to my worldwide department, not just my team. So you probably need to learn how to do that. You just have to know where to get information, know how to talk about the information you've gotten, and look competent while doing it. That's really just it. So if you're competent in the job you were doing before you started taking this course, just transfer that same confidence into this course and you'll be fine. Get the information you need for this particular career, transfer the confidence you're using in your former job, and you will do great. I promise you, it's not as complicated as it looks right now. You just have to get in.
Thank you. So the tools that I'm actually talking about is, I don't know if you make use of these tools in your field, like SQL, when it comes to presentation, Tableau, Power BI. That is the kind of tools I'm talking about, not the SharePoint.
No, I don't currently use SQL and the rest, but I did learn very basic version of the use of those tools during my training. During my bootcamp with RKY. RKY did not specifically, the tutor did not teach that, but he mentioned it in person and I went to do research on them. However, that tutor, I've forgotten his name, he's really, really, really competent and he's very, very generous in sharing information. If you have personal questions, if you need to be clear, you can always text him or ask your question there and he will tell you on so and so time, I'll give you more information about this certain tool. Because to be very honest with you, RKY will give you what you need to start your process, but you still need to also do a lot of work on your own. So if for every single basic information you need, what you need to start, RKY will give you, but you still need to go and do a lot of reading on your own. I currently don't use SQL, but what I have is basic knowledge of it.
Thank you, Dora.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Dora. For me, SQL and Power BI, Python, Tableau, core tools that are taught in our data analysis bootcamp, not specifically our compliance bootcamp. Yeah. Right. For compliance,
and you don't make this two.
You have to take the 2 courses separately. Right. And for compliance, most of the organizations have their own in-house tools. So it's pretty difficult to like train on just one because you don't know the tools they are using in-house. Right. So, but the facilitator does well to like just mention a few of those tools in passing. Right. Because you can teach you the tools on the course and then you get to your workplace, they're not using it. Right. So you just mention them in passing so that you can read up and research about them.
Thank you, Ida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, please, I have a question because at some point I got confused. I didn't know which one to go for, whether it's compliance or data analysis bootcamp. With regards to imagine the economy in the markets presently, I don't know which career do you think has a longer, I know I'm asking, I know you're the one, there's no parents that would want to prefer a child to the other one, right? So, but I'm asking for clarity purpose.
Is this question for me or for the RKY team?
Yeah.
Okay, so for see, one of my colleagues has mentioned it in the group, both. You know, if you have a compliance I mentioned it earlier that if you have a compliance background and you take the data analysis course, you can combine both. We have AML data analyst rules, we have compliance data analyst rules, and if you have a data background and you combine it with compliance, you can still apply for those jobs. So both have a long line, so you have career stability in both, and it gives you room to explore different career opportunities. You are not stuck to one career path, right? Look at Dora now. If she decides she wants to move, she's currently working in retail, but if she decides she wants to move to finance, she can, right? Because of all the skills and all the background that she has combined. So it just depends on how you position yourself and then how you position your CV too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Arisa, you have a question?
Yes, yeah, just a small question for Dora. I don't know, you said your company is an international company. I just want to ask, I don't know, do you have experience with Swedish markets, or do you kind of like interact with them?
Yeah, but basically on compliance only.
Okay, fine, perfect,
So
perfect.
that market has a manager and everything. I just come in when I feel like they are not complying with certain processes.
Okay, so why I asked is is it possible for me to apply what I'm going to learn from the bootcamp to the Swedish markets?
You're learning the GDPR, of course. It applies that. Anywhere in the EU, it can be applied.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, Dora. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
For having
Bye. Yeah, bye. Okay,
Dora.
so let's move on. I think someone has a question for Dora again, but she has
This is
gone,
me, it's Winnie.
sadly. Sorry. Okay, so some of our success stories as well. As you can see, because time is fast spent, I would want to introduce you to the next person, our facilitator, in person of Mr. Adeyinka Benjo, right? Well, me, I call him Mr. Adeyinka. But then, he's an accomplished financial crime and compliance professional with over 10 years experience across leading UK and international financial institutions. He's based in the UK, and Mr. Adeyinka brings a global perspective to financial crime compliance, combining international regulatory insights with hands-on operational expertise. It specializes in AML, KYC, enhanced due diligence, transaction monitoring, sanction screening, and suspicious activities reporting, with direct experience submitting reports to the National Crime Agency. Okay, so I don't want to go into read all his bio for you, but I'm going to allow him to speak and tell you a brief summary of what you are going to be taught and what to expect in class. Mr. Gbenga, are you here, please?
I'm here. Good
Why are you
afternoon.
laughing? Good afternoon, Mr. Gbenga.
No, I'm not too used listening to people explaining or more of a citation thing. I'm not too used to it. Anyways, it's good to speak to you guys today, and I could hear loads of explanations about the compliance. And Dora, well done, Dora, because she's spoken a lot based on our experience as well with RKY and the role, our role. One thing I'm just going to start with is when it comes to questioning, before I talked about a few things about the compliance, what we'll be covering. She mentioned stuff about questions. You feel free to ask your manager stuff. I'm gonna say, please don't always ask. And the reason is you're not entering into this industry because you're switching, or what's that English word again? You're moving into a new role, and you're applying as an experienced compliance person. There are certain things they expect that you should know. It won't be nice, you going into the role, and you're now asking them questions like, how do I understand the owners of this business, or how do I do screening? It's more like you trying to set yourself up for drugs. So that's where our KY come in. Our training is to bridge the gap between the theoretical aspects and the practical one. Hope you guys can hear me clearly, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
All
Yes,
right,
we can.
thanks. So it's to bridge the gap. When it comes to compliance, it's more of a practical thing. Things that you guys always do on a normal reg. However, you just can't place a name that, okay, this is what you do. Take, for instance, now, if we're talking about financial crime. So if I mention someone's name here, I'm sure all of you will say, oh, yeah, I know this person. Do anybody know, what's his name? Hush Puppy. Hush Puppy, anybody?
Yes, of course.
What happened to him? Who is he?
He's a fraudster.
He's a fraudster. How was he caught? Do you know how he was caught?
No, I don't have the detail, but it happened in Dubai. He's been doing wire fraud. I think it has to do with his Bitcoin or something. And
it's fine. Yeah, no much. It's not even about the details itself. The main thing is what you've mentioned. He's into fraud. Maybe he's dealing in certain products and he got caught. They didn't just catch him maybe one day like that. He's been monitored. So the system, they've been noticing what he's been doing, and they just needed a perfect timing to gather all the information to get him busted. Thank you. And that's what someone said, that transaction monitoring. They've been monitoring the transaction. His transactions has already triggered from this on the system. So that's part of what we're going to be doing. Also, can I get a volunteer? Let's quickly do a 1 minute question and answer. More like me asking you question and you responding. Who is there?
I'm here.
All right, thank you. Sorry, what's your name?
Winnie.
Winnie. All right. Actually, I just started. So let's assume we met each other on the road. We've never seen each other before, and I come to you and I say, "Hi, please, can I know you? What's your name?" You're gonna respond with what?
I will question why you want to know me.
No. No. Don't make it complicated. Just give me the answer straight. Yeah, I'm going somewhere. David, stop putting the comments. No, just give me your name.
You just met me on the road.
Yes.
Depending on the environment, I could tell you my name or I could say no.
Okay, for the purpose of this conversation, let's assume that you're willing to give me your name.
Okay.
So, what's your name?
I will mention my name. I'll also ask you your name and probe more about you. What you do, so, why you want to know my name.
Okay, all right. So, thanks, Winnie. What I'm trying to achieve here is most times we engage into KYC on a normal basis. By the time I meet you, because I don't know you, I'm sure we've met people before where they've asked us our name. We've mentioned the name. They've asked, oh, do you live around here? Where do you stay? You've mentioned, oh, I live in Abuja. You're already doing KYC. Because if we now translate that thing into the normal business, it means your name is the legal name. Your where are you staying is the address, which is the registered address, or your jurisdiction. What do you do for a living? That is more like what do you do as a business, the company. That is more of the nature of business of that company. Who are your parents? It's more like you trying to understand what are the ownership structures of the company. And so on and so forth. It is a practical thing that we do. Compliance. It's more about we need to comply about certain rules and obligations of the industry or the country. So when we're talking about the compliance bit now, there could be a regulation that, okay, because of Iran and America stuff, there's a sanctions on Iran, meaning every business must comply by not interacting when it comes to business with Iran. So they are going to be placed on the sanctions list. The moment you're now dealing with a customer that deals with sanctioned country, you want to offboard them because you don't want the problem of the FCA, that's if it's in the UK. So when it comes to the things we'll be talking about in our training, we'll be talking about the FCA regulations, which is still almost the same as the EU regulation or the global regulations. So we have, when it comes to money laundering aspects, we have the GMLSG, the Joint Money Laundering Steering Group. That is more like our Bible, and it is used all over the world. We have the fifth AMLD, which is the fifth Anti-Money Laundering Directive. That is also a EU thing. So compliance, it's more of a global system or action. Just that each country now try to add their own thing to it. So is it possible to be in Sweden and you want to transfer this knowledge there? Yes, you can. Most of the clients, like for me, I've worked with loads of banks. It's over almost 12 or 15 banks. Majority of the banks I've worked with are non-UK banks. They are either Kuwait or German banks, Netherlands, different types of banks. And in this industry, you can work anywhere. When I mean anywhere, it's if you're lucky enough to have the remote role, you can actually work anywhere and take for instance the Netherlands one. You can be in the UK and be doing your Netherlands job. But the only issue now is in the UK, they're trying to utilize the office again, and it's now becoming an hybrid where maybe 1 day a week or 2 days. Now, when it comes to KYC, AML, financial crime, there are loads of roles there. And the reason is because for a BA, I know someone asked the question that which one should you do, either BA or this. If a job is out for a BA, they are looking for a business analyst. Every business you barely see, irrespective of the size of the business, you're barely going to see a team of 5 BAs in one company. You're barely going to see it, except maybe they're them conglomerates. But when it comes to these financial crime aspects, you could see 60 people in a team, not in a team like the whole department, and they could split them into maybe for new clients or for existing clients. Then when you're going to see more jobs is anytime maybe a bank or a financial industry got fined by the regulators. Take for instance Monzo. Late last year, Monzo was fined, I think, 60 something million pounds for not abiding by their AML rules. So some transactions went through without them knowing. And what happened when there's a bust like that? There is always remediation projects. In that remediation project, it means they're going to be looking for people like either 100 people or 150 people. That is why the jobs are a lot out there when it comes to all those roles that they've mentioned. Regarding GDPR, GDPR is a global thing as well. You just need to understand. We're going to be talking about GDPR as well in the class. We'll be talking about MiFID. MiFID, it's the markets tool that they use to protect investors. We'll be talking about that in the class, and we'll be talking about I think it's more of the FCA role, the FCA and the PRAs. So FCA, Financial Conduct Authority, and the Prudential PRA. Sorry?
No, go ahead, don't worry.
Oh, okay. We'll be talking about their roles in the financial markets and how they control the whole market. So compliance is a very, very, very broad. Even in schools, you need a compliance officer because all the part of compliance is also risk and governance. And when it comes to governance, it's more about how do the managers, what are the rules that they're going to put in place? What is the culture of the business, the codes and conducts of that business? How do people need to adhere to them? So compliance is a very, very complex thing, and it's not something it's a 6 weeks program anyways, which the first week it's about the regulations. We'll talk about the AML KYC. We'll talk about the MiFID GDPR with other questions. And regarding system, yeah, I think Winnie mentioned something about the tools. When it comes to compliance, there is no specific tool that you can say this is a tool for compliance. Don't get me wrong, there are tools, but the company that you're working with, depending on the size of that company, they always have their own tools. Take for instance, if we're talking about screening, the screening tool, which is the World Check or the LexisNexis, these tools are not tools that an individual could go sign up for.
We'll have access to.
Yeah, you cannot, because even you can call them and say you want stuff, but who are you to say you want to have an access to something that has information about people? Because it has date of birth, it has a lot of information. Why will an individual want to get that kind of access? So once you go into the bank or you go to any financial services, they train you on their own tools. Yeah, you'll be trained, but they will not be training you on what is compliance. How do you investigate? How do you do your Google search? Nobody is going to be training you on that, because it is believed that you are an expert. Those are the things that we are going to help you with during the training. The World Check tool, which is every business that do, let me say, financial industries, they always use that World Check. Every one of them. We're going to show you, even though we don't have access to it, but there's a what's it called? Like we could show you how they use it. And I'm trying to think of what other tools are there. Okay, there are other tools that are used for, let me say, KYC, maybe to gather information from the about the clients. You're not going to get that. It's the company that have.
You're muted, sir.
You're muted, Mr.
You are muted.
Yinka.
Who muted me?
I think it seems that glitched. It happens sometimes.
Because I know I'm using my hand, so I don't know how my hand went to mute.
It seems that did that.
Oh, okay. Okay, the system bits. So when it comes to the other system, like when you're working in the bank now for transaction monitoring, it is the bank that will create their own system, AI tool, where it's going to be using their own accounts to monitor the system and be creating an alert. So definitely you're not going to have that kind of tool as well. But the bank or whoever company you're going to be working with, they will be the one that will train you. We just going to tell you what to expect, how you do things, and just bridge the gap. Any question? I'm not sure if I meant to ask if there's a question.
Yes, you can ask. If they have any questions, they can ask. If they can't speak, they can drop the questions in the chat box.
You can continue. It's making serious sense.
You have to pay for the boot camp. I'm looking forward to seeing Winnie in class.
No, I'm already communicating with one of you. I'm resuming. It's on the 18th now. The 18th of April, right?
Yes.
It's starting on the 18th, so I'm joining. I'll be the class governor.
Okay. Looking forward to seeing you in class. So does anybody have any question for Mr. Deyinka?
That's good.
Okay.
For me, the question I would have asked, he already answered the question.
Oh, okay. Perfect then.
Why do I do this a lot? Even during training, someone would say, "Oh, I wanted to ask a question, but you just answered it." I think Ben is raising their hand.
Ben, your hand is up. Ben.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, I'm here. Good
Hi, Ben.
afternoon, sir. Yeah,
Good
I want to
afternoon,
ask the sanction you mentioned, the sanction screening tool that, for instance, that is used in the financial institutions like banking. Is it the same template? Since it's a global search, is it the same tool they use here in the UK? Is it the same kind of tool they use, like the sanction screening you mentioned, all those KYC platforms?
Yeah. So when it comes to the sanctions tool, the tool they use is called World Check. That is what they use. So the World Check will identify either there's a PEP, there's sanctions or adverse news or financial.
Well, blacklisted.
Right. Yeah, that is the two. Yeah, so LexisNexis is also an alternative tool, but 99.99%, you can quote me on this, will use World Check and not use LexisNexis. While you see maybe the remaining 0.1 are actually using both of them. So it is a tool where it's a global one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Adeyinka. Thank you so much. If you want
Thanks,
to know
Oyin.
more about all this, pay for the bootcamp. You see Mr.
Thank you,
Adeyinka
Mr.
live. You
Adeyinka. Hoping
spend
to see you
6
in class.
weeks. Yeah, so you spend
Yeah,
6 weeks
you're
with
gonna
him.
enjoy the class. Don't worry. This is what you see is what you get.
What
Don't
you
worry.
get.
What you
Yes.
get. Not what I ordered versus what I got.
Not at all.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Adeyinka. Okay, so let's wrap up because it's past 2 already. But yeah, this will be you. These are some of our success story for this year, the jobs that our students
Sorry, I
got.
wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
What's the? Okay, I think you've shown it before, but could you just repeat the salary ranges?
Okay, let's go back to
And while
that
you're at it, is
slide.
it possible to do? Is it possible to do 2 roles at the same time, like positions?
2 roles in
If
what
it's okay with
sense?
your timing,
I
like
don't
if
understand
I
what you
get a
mean
job
by
with
2 roles.
maybe a what I mean by that is this: if I'm fortunate to get like a role with Bank A, and also get another role with maybe a wealth management firm, and the timing I can juggle their timing. I can. Is it possible to do the 2 roles?
I
Oyin, let
think
me
you
help
should
you.
give up. Yes, please.
Let me help you
Because
on that.
I understand that compliance has to do with there are some restrictions even as because of confidentiality as a staff. There are some restrictions even on your social media activities. So what are those restrictions, and am I free to work for 2 organizations at the same time?
So you can hear me, right?
Yes, I
Yes,
can.
please.
Okay. Um, please, my response here should not be
Mhm.
quoted.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not liable for what I'm gonna say.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, I know, I know.
When it comes to
Service
multiple
pigeon is
jobs,
okay.
no.
Okay.
I'm fine. This is something that I'm still good. I was still saying during the session. Anyways,
In
I'm
class, okay.
just yeah. You can do multiple roles.
Mm,
It is fine. The
okay.
only clause there is if there is no conflict of interest.
Interest, okay.
Yes, and the problem is how do you know if there is no conflict of interest?
Juggle.
On a norm, on a norm, when you have
Mhm.
one job and you want to do another
Mm,
job, take for instance, they are both in the financial industry. You are
mm,
meant to declare that you have another job that you want to be doing,
mhm, mm,
right? Which we all
mm,
know that it will not be allowed.
mm.
You're not permitted to do 2 jobs, especially if it's the same 9 to 5. How will you be breaking the time for both of them? Right? But
Mm,
people do it.
mm,
I'll raise my hand. I've done it. And
okay.
this was because both of the jobs were
Are
remote,
not within the same
fully remote.
location.
No. They're even the same. They're the same
Okay.
compliance stuff, but they are remote roles.
Okay.
Meaning I'm working from home for both of them. I don't go to the office. So it's easy for
Yes.
me to do 2. One, I'm a QA in one. The other one, I'm a QC.
Mm,
So I can maneuver and do it. Is it correct? No, it's not correct. Because if
mm,
one finds out, you could be
mm.
sacked. Do you get the logic?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah, but if you're doing something maybe in the weekend, that is
Mm.
fine.
Or maybe in America that you can start in the evening.
Exactly, that you're not using the same time. but
Time,
there's
yes.
still a conflict of interest. There could be a conflict of interest there if he's still
Okay.
a financial industry, because you might be working a
Related
client
career,
that
yeah.
is also a client for the other American company.
Okay, I see.
You
So I was thinking
understand?
it's only when you're tied to them with a visa that they will not give you those conditions. But it's
Nah,
okay.
it's a general stuff.
Just like goes to confidentiality, the one we do in Nigeria is okay.
Yeah.
When we get to the bridge, we'll cross over.
And sorry, I heard about your lastly, I heard about your story regarding Lloyd's Bank stuff.
Like, I'm with you.
Sorry? Yeah, the Lloyd's issue you said you had with Lloyd's
Okay.
thing. Don't
Yeah, it was
let
stressful.
that break you or disturb you. I've
It shrunk me. I'm
with
still
Lloyd's
trying to
before.
evolve since then.
Yeah, I've worked with Lloyd's before. This was maybe 8 years or 9 years ago. It depends on the people. I didn't like my manager as well. I didn't like them, but I was just making my money and doing my work. I didn't really care. You understand? I left there and moved to somewhere else. You always gonna see this one or two of these people that are just not nice. You understand? But you shouldn't let that stop you from wherever you want to go. I just thought to tell you that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adeyinka. Thank you, Winnie. Okay, so to wrap up, right? Originally, our price for the bootcamp is £750, but there's a special offer going on that makes like for discount, and it's going for £599. And you have the option of paying in installments. You can either pay in installment via direct transfer, and you pay in 2 installments, right? Or you pay via Klarna or ClearPay. Can admin please drop the payment link in the chat box, and also the WhatsApp contact link as well for those that might want to reach out to our representative, right? And you get to learn as much, like we mentioned, no prior experience is needed, right? And it's a 6 week course, Saturday and Sunday. And you get to learn a lot. You get to do your personal projects and quiz as well. Bootcamp, I think someone asked how much the bootcamp costs. It's £599, right? And the next bootcamp is starting April 18th. So you need to make your decision early so you can start early with the class. We have people that join after 1 week, but then they will have to watch the recording for the first week, right? And I think that doesn't do just enough justice, unlike when you join the class from the beginning itself, right? So the classes are Saturday and Sunday around 4 to 6 p.m. Right? It's always in the evening. So you have time to like join the class, ask questions, make it engaging, and the likes, right? And then you also have access to alumni resources. Even all our past recording session of our alumni resources, you would have access to them as well. We also have other bootcamps coming up. We'll have our Excel bootcamp coming up. So if you want to learn Excel and PowerPoint, you can always learn it. It costs £50 or 50k for the course as well. And then these are some of the companies that our students work for, and okay, our success stories as well. And lastly, I would still like to talk about LWB for those that were not there when I spoke about it earlier. Like I said, it's a tech and networking event that we hold every year. This year, we're having it in 2 locations, both in Nigeria and in the UK. The UK one is coming up June 27th, and would advise you to get your tickets because you have speakers, industry founders, entrepreneurs. There'll be award ceremony, there'll be pitch to win the launch pad, there'll be exhibition. We have recruiters coming from different industries. You get to meet them one-on-one, talk to them, exchange contacts, connect with them. And when you become a student of RKY Careers, you also get to meet your fellow student as well. You know those people that you do meetings together and join classes together, you just talk on call and the likes. You don't know how they look like or where they are presently, right? But when you meet them at Limitless without border, you get to communicate with them, you get to talk to them, you get to like even further grow your connection as well. So yes, this event is for you, right? There are some things that emails and messages don't solve, that you have to bring it face to face. So yes, bring it face to face. Come energized, come with that insightful mindset that yes, I'm coming to learn something, I'm coming to gain connection, I'm coming to network, right? Admin, please also post the link for them to secure their tickets in the chat box. So if you are going to register for the compliance bootcamp that is starting on the 18th, can I see a show of hands, please? I don't think that many students will be welcome in this course. Can I see a show of hands, please? Yes, Arisa, you can pay in installments. Yes, you can pay in installments. Can I get the WhatsApp link for them to contact our representative as well? Can we drop that in the chat? So Arisa, if you click on the link, you can pay via Klarna or PayPal. Or those in Nigeria, the bootcamp costs 800k, and you can also pay in installments as well. I'm trying to get the WhatsApp contacts. Just a minute. So that you can speak to our representative and it will be easy for you to liaise with them and talk to them. So while I'm waiting for them to post the link, okay, Kende, Kolawole, I already added Winnie, even if you did not raise up her hand. Who else am I seeing in class? Like I said, you can pay in installments, and if you feel you are more inclined for data analysis, our bootcamp, we have our bootcamps coming up May 9th, is also the same price, right? Coming up 9th of May, we have the PM bootcamp also coming up 9th of May, and we have the product management bootcamp also coming up 9th of May. So all our bootcamp are starting one after the other. So you can pick anyone that works for you and then secure your slot in that section. And yes, you can pay in installments, right? We understand the way the economy is, so we give room for you to pay in installments. So thank you, everyone. The link to contact our customer representative has been dropped in the chat box. So please, you can click on that link, and the link for securing your slot for payment is also in the chat box. You can also click on that link and make payments and also communicate with our representative as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on in class. Does anybody have any question for me before I go on, please? Okay, Moi. Okay, thank you. We'll be looking forward to seeing you. Does anybody have any question for me? Kende, Kolawole, do you have any question for me?
Yeah, I have a question. I can see compliance 240, like what's the difference?
Oh, that's okay. Compliance 240 is the old cohort. You don't need to pick that one, so you can pick 250. That's 25.0. So compliance 24.0 is the old cohort. 25.0 is the new one. So pick the latest one.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Any other question, please? Okay, in the absence of other questions, I'd like to call it a day. Thank you for joining this session. I hope and I'm looking forward to seeing every one of you in class.